Hello class, this is our first biology video as you can see. In this video we are going to study about the cell. So a cell is the basic unit of life. Like in chemistry we studied that an atom is the basic unit of all matter and everything is made up of atoms. In biology every living organism is made up of a cell. So what is the definition of cell? Well, a cell is a basic structural, functional and biological unit of all known living organisms. Okay, every single living organism known yet is made up of cells, and cells are the smallest unit of life that can replicate independently. Cells replicate themselves so they can reproduce, okay, so they can grow. Or let's rather say so the organisms can grow. Okay, they are often known as the building blocks of life, so because they build up life. Okay, let's move on to the structure of a plant cell. So this is the structure of a plant cell. For now, just know the names of the ones that I have squared, that I have drawn a square around. Okay, you don't really need to know the functions yet. I'm going to tell you the functions in this video and in the next video, but for now just learn the names and the positions of the ones I have drawn a square around. Okay, now let's move on to the structure of an animal cell. True, the structure of an animal cell is different to that of a plant cell. Look at it for now. In this, all the labels are pretty important. Just know the positions and the names of all of these. We are going to discuss about the functions later in this video and in the next part of this series. So what is the function of the nucleus? Well, the nucleus is the control center of a cell, just like your brain is the control center of the whole body, like the CPU is the control center of a computer. The nucleus basically controls the cell. The nucleus regulates the activities of the cell. It's basically like it controls the cell, it regulates what the cell does, what it should do, and so on. And it maintains the integrity of the genes which regulate gene expression. So the traits you inherit from your parents are because of the genes inside the cells. Okay, you're going to learn about the genes in a few more videos, but you don't need to worry about them now. A fun fact, what you look like, how tall you are, and many other factors about your body are dependent on your genes, are dependent on your DNA. But we're going to study about that later. For now, just remember that it maintains the integrity of the cell. Now let's move on to what a nuclear membrane is. The nuclear membrane is made up of two membranes, the inner membrane and the outer membrane. So, excuse me, the outer membrane of the nucleus is continuous with the membrane of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Do you remember the rough endoplasmic reticulum from the diagram you had to study? We are going to study about its functions later, but for now just know that it is continuous with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, the nuclear envelope encloses the nucleus and separates the genetic material of the cell from the cytoplasm of the cell. So the nuclear envelope is the nuclear membrane. Okay, so the nuclear membrane basically separates the genetic material of the cell from the cytoplasm of the cell, and it also acts as a barrier to prevent passage of micromolecules freely between the nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. Okay, so it prevents the movement of micromolecules from the nucleus to the cytoplasm and vice versa. It only allows the important macromolecules to move from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Now let's move on to chromosomes. Okay, so chromosomes are in the nucleus of the cell. The nucleus of the cell contains a majority of the cell's genetic material in the form of multiple linear DNA molecules. These DNA molecules are organized into structures called chromosomes. And these chromosomes basically contain the information about your body. The DNA molecules are in complex with large variety of proteins called histones which form the chromosomes. Okay, in the cell they are organized in DNA protein complex known as chromatin. The chromatin are basically rippled form of chromosomes, and later during cell replication they turn into chromosomes. During cell division, as I told you, the chromatin forms well-defined chromosomes. Earlier, they're just rippled up. They are not in an organized structure. Later, they form an organized structure called chromosomes. Now, let's move on to the next function. The mitochondria of the cell also contains a small fraction of the genes, a small fraction of the chromosomes. And fun fact, the human cells nearly have 6 feet of DNA. Every single human cell has 6 feet of DNA. That's a really mind-blowing fact. So now let's move on to the nucleolus. The nucleolus is basically the part inside the nucleus that is covered by the nuclear membrane, okay? And the function of the nucleolus is the synthesis and assembly of ribosomes and RNA. During cell division, the nucleolus disappears, okay? When the cells divide and the organism grows, this nucleolus basically disappears. And we're not really sure about this fact yet, but it is involved in cellular aging. Now let's move on to the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or the SER, or the smooth ER. It helps in the manufacturing of fat molecules and lipids. Okay, it helps in the manufacturing of the fats your cell needs. It also helps build the cell membrane. The cell membrane is basically the boundary of the cell. We're going to study about that in the next video, but what you need to know for now is that the SER helps build the cell membrane. Okay, it also serves as channels for transport of material between various regions of the cytoplasm. So the products of the cell are transported from one place to another through the endoplasmic reticulum. It also helps detoxifying of the drugs and poisons. Now, let me tell you a fun fact. Do you know when you have alcohol, or when you have poisonous drinks, your liver gets damaged? Do you know why? Because your liver has a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulums, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulums help filter out the poisons and the alcohols, and that's why your liver gets eroded. Now let's move on to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is attached to ribosomes. Not attached, I'm sorry for the spelling mistake. It's supposed to be attached. It's not attacked. Okay, it's attached to ribosomes. Ribosomes are tiny dot-like structures that are responsible in protein assembly. Ribosomes are basically structures that make the rough endoplasmic reticulum unique. The rough endoplasmic reticulum also acts as a transport system, just like the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now let's move on to the Golgi apparatus, or the Golgi body. The Golgi body is used in packaging, modification and storage of products, and dispatching of products. So it's basically like the marketing system of the cell. It does all the marketing, and it packages the products for dispatching. Now let's move on to what we are going to study in the next part. In the next part we are going to study about the rest of the important parts of the cell, and we are going to study about the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell. Just to give a bit of a background, the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells are basically two different types of cells, and they constitute of two different types of organisms. That's it for this video, guys. Please leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want more content. I'm desperate to teach you more things, teach you more chemistry, more biology, more physics. Please leave a comment down below for suggestions about teaching. This is my first time teaching, so please support me and don't hate. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.